I kind of took it on a whim, and then when I got to Northside, it was like the first time I'd ever like studied a language formally.
I took Japanese because I wanted to learn another Asian language, and I was fascinated in Japanese culture.
I just like Japanese culture in general. I like their music, their style.
Because I've been taking Spanish for a while and I didn't really like it, so I decided to take a new language.
Because I have a deep fascination with culture and language.
I thought the language seemed like a fun kind of a challenge, and I really like Japanese culture.
I decided to take Japanese because I'm really fascinated with the culture, and I kind of think that, learning the language helps you immerse yourself in the culture more.
I actually did not choose Japanese as my first choice, but got it as my second choice. So I was actually really glad when I started.
I took Japanese after I met a friend, and a Japanese friend, and he introduced me to this profound human connection between people who are in different cultures. And so Japanese was my first foreign language experience, and it just grew on me, and I decided it would be something fun to take that would help me not just learn a foreign language, but help me find myself intellectually. I love it. Park Sensei's great, and yeah, I love it.
Japanese one, it definitely is a lot of fun.
I mean, it's pretty interesting learning like a language that's completely different from like most like European English style languages.
Extremely exciting. Park Sensei is very enthusiastic, and my classmates are fun and loud, and we all around have a good time.
Learning the new language was difficult, but it's worth it, I think.
So far, it's pretty good. I mean, I know more than I did when I started. Like, I know all the hiragana and the katakana now, and that's really great. We're working on kanji, so.
It's really fun. Park Sensei is an amazing, energetic teacher, and I've learned a lot.
Park Sensei and the students around you are always there to help you learn the language, so your conversational and lyric skills progress as you go through the class.
I think it's really fun, and it's like a new experience, especially how Japanese writes in characters instead of actual alphabets. I think that's really interesting, and how like some characters actually hold their own meaning instead of like combining them together.
It's challenging.
It's challenging, but is it like rewarding?
Yeah.
Yeah?
After you get to understand more and more of it, you kind of feel like this is great.
Well, I'm planning on continuing Japanese in college. Yeah.
I have had a long dream of, being able to just talk to someone in Japanese without having to ask, what does this word mean? What is this in English? So fluency, I guess.
I plan to visit Japan and probably live there for a couple years.
I hope to someday be able to travel to Japan, and at least be able to understand a little bit of what people are saying.
I want to be able to, by the end of my Northside experience, fluently be able to converse with Japanese foreigners.
I kind of want to work with video games in a way, because there's a lot of video game emphasis in Japan.
In the future, I'm thinking of working with businesses in Japan, so being able to communicate with the people there would really help.
I'll go into international business, something in Japan, or something related to the Japanese language.
I'm not really sure, but I think it's just a good thing to know more than one language in general, and it'll probably help like in jobs and colleges and stuff, so.
Take it, it's awesome.
Memorize your kanji.
Definitely practice your kanji, because it will come and bite you in the butt if you do not know it.
Memorize a lot of kanji and talk a lot in the language, because you are required to actually speak out loud very, very often.
Turn in your homework.
Take it if you really want to take it and if you want to take the challenge.
Use flashcards a lot, and just remember, have like little mnemonics in your head to remember what things mean.
Just trying to read it, because if you could read the Japanese characters, then it'll make you confident that you can find finally read such characters and can use that as a bragging technique if necessary.
At first it's hard and very confusing and challenging, but later you get to understand it more.
You definitely should take it. It's really fun, and Park Sensei is so nice. And it's just a really good culture to learn and everything.
5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, doっこいしょ、どっこいしょ。
どっこいしょ。
そうらん、そうらん。あ、どっこいしょ、どっこいしょ。そうらん、そうらん。Yeah.
So, what dance team are all of you guys a part of?
Soran!
And what is Soran?
It's a traditional Japanese fisherman dance.
And then why were you interested in joining Soran?
It seemed very energetic, and I felt like maybe I could get a workout from it.
And then
Also, it's like a connection to the Japanese culture, so.
And also like, maybe it's also the dance move that gets like the whole audience pumped up when they watch it, so like everyone's like involved, like chanting and trying to.
I am in the Japan Bowl team for my level, and I also participated in the speech contest.
And what was that like?
It was long. We stayed at school for like 6 hours filming it, not filming it, but recording it, and it was hard.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, I think it was worth it. It was really cool to learn new vocab and do this really interesting competition.
Right now I'm doing an independent senior project, and I'm doing that mostly through a program at Stanford University called the Bright Shower Scholars Program.
For 3 years, I went to Mori no Ike, which is through Concordia Language Villages, and I stayed there for 2 weeks each summer. And it's basically a Japanese immersion camp where you eat, breathe, and sleep Japanese. You eat Japanese food for all your meals. It's basically a summer camp, but all done in Japanese. And it's a great way for you to improve your speaking and listening and just vocabulary on daily life and things like that.
Last year we both took part in the Japan Bowl.
And I went on the Japan trip also. And plus also, wait, what else? Like speech contest? Yeah, I also did speech contest last year.
Are you still taking Japanese?
No, I'm not.
So you're the PR representative for JHS. So what inspired you to stay a part of the Japanese program?
I think Park Sensei really did. I still wanted to be connected to, learning about the culture and learning about the language. So I decided I was going to run for PR for JHS board and still be a part of this community.
So have you contributed to Japanese outside of school in the community?
I really enjoyed learning Japanese with Park Sensei in school. So the summer after my sophomore year, I went to New York and did some work with Asian minority rights in politics. And it was really exciting because while I was there, there were actual Japanese female dancers from Japan, and they were really pretty in their kimono and stuff. And I was like, can I take a picture with you? And we had a conversation in Japanese, and that was so exciting to use the language in real time.
Arigato gozaimasu.
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 Arigato gozaimasu. Arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu.